Hi, and welcome back to Continue. I'm so glad that you're with us again. The past few weeks, we've been talking about salvation that we have in Jesus. We've been talking about discipleship as we continue to follow Jesus. And we talked last week about prayer and fasting as part of following Jesus. Today, we are going to be talking about maybe a sort of taboo subject: temptation. Temptation is a time when you feel like you are wanting to give in. You're wanting to give in to something that is drawing your attention. It's something that's drawing your attention away from Christ, away from things that you know are right. It's something that you really just would rather do, and yet you know that that's not what God would want for you. We all feel these things. And it's not bad to feel the temptation, but you have a choice about what you do with it. And so today, as we're talking about how to continue following Jesus, even when we're not together, temptation is a big issue for us. Is it for you like it is for me? Temptation is something that is harder for me when I'm not with the people that keep me going on the right path. One of the hardest things for me as I try to continue in following Jesus is getting sidetracked by things that would tempt me to get off the path. Today we're going to read in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 12 and 13. It says this: "So if you think you're standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." So today I want to talk with you about 5 things. The first one is pride. There is a temptation to feel proud, that you have already overcome something, that you are beyond this already, that you don't struggle with anything. A temptation to pride. And Paul, when he's writing this letter at the beginning, he says, if you think you are standing firm, watch out. Now, there are some areas where we are strong. We've overcome those areas where we have tried and failed and tried and failed, and then we were able to overcome, and we have continued to overcome. Continue to grow in those areas. Don't give in. Keep going. Those are your strong areas. But all of us, even if we have 100 strong areas, we have at least one, and probably more, weak areas. Even if you've been a Christian for years and years and years, you will still have weak areas. This is a temptation that is common, as Paul says in these 2 verses. It's a common thing, not unusual. And yet our feeling in the moment is that this is just me. Like, I'm the only one who struggles with this. And how will I overcome this? And mostly it is this. This is common to humanity. This feeling of being alone in your temptation, that is going to sidetrack you if you don't walk out of it and go and find someone you can tell about that temptation, about that struggle, about that challenge. And then walking together, it will be way easier to bear up that burden. You have someone else with you. And so I think it's very encouraging that Paul says here that none of our temptations are unusual. They are something that is common to people. And so when you find safe people you can talk with about that temptation, then you have a much greater chance of moving past it and staying strong. In this whole situation, I want you to think about where God is. What is God's role when we're being tempted? Is God the one who's tempting us? Is this a test? Do you feel like this is a test and I'm going to fail it? Like, it's one of those tests where There's just no way. I didn't study for this, I didn't prep for it, and the teacher is writing these questions trying to trick me. That is not God. God is not like that. Think about what we know about God's character. God's character is that He is faithful. He is faithful. He sticks with us, no matter if we make it through the temptation or not. He is there. He is trying to help us in this whole process of growing and continuing in our faith. He doesn't want to see us fail. He wants to see us grow. And so God is faithful, and that will help you. That will help you to keep sight of the fact that God is with you in this temptation. And God is providing the way out. God is making the way for you to be able to escape this temptation. Now, the escape might not be easy. It might be that the escape requires a lot of difficult choices, a lot of constant decision making, continuing to choose the right. And yet, God has made a way out for you. It is now our choice whether or not we want to take it. But our God is merciful. He doesn't put us in a test where He knows that we're destined to fail and not give us a way out. He puts us in a situation where when we trust Him and we obey Him, then we can continue and walk right past that temptation. I hope that that's encouraging to you today to know that our God has a way out of temptation, that He is with us even while we're walking in that hard path, and that that path will be easier when we share it with other people. So today, I'm praying for you in whatever temptation might be taking its moment in your life right now, whether that's something that's coming up in the next days or weeks. But I'm praying for you that in the temptation, whatever it is, that you will see that God is faithful.